What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the DS Asylum. I'm your warden, Dimitri Strine, and today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. Just a random idea I decided to have. I'm going to be ranking which anniversary gave us the best units. Now, I'm going to say this right now. I am not comparing these units to each other. I am not comparing the 1-year anniversary units to the 2-year anniversary units. That's not what this is about. Because if I did that, Vegito Blue would just beat everybody. LF Vegito Blue would literally just beat everybody because he's easily the best of all the anniversary units we've ever gotten. What I'm doing is I'm judging these units on how they entered the game. Like, how good were they when they were released? That is how I will be judging the units. And the anniversary that had the most amounts of units that made a huge impact, win. That'll be the anniversary that gave us the most amount of good units. It'll be the highest quality anniversary in terms of the units. Now, I'm just gonna say this right now. The 3-year anniversary is just straight disqualified. Like, I'm not even gonna bother talking about the 3-year anniversary because Corrupted Zamasu and the purple Vegito Blue are the only 2 good units we got. The entire GT banner was awful. Red Kefla was awful. Like, we literally only got 2 good units for that anniversary. Gogeta is okay. Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is okay. But the 3-year anniversary, as good as Corrupted Zamasu and the purple Vegito are, easily had the lowest quality units as a whole than any other anniversary, which is sad because Corrupted Zamasu is easily better than all of the 1-year anniversary units. But because he came out with such an underwhelming cast of characters, the 3-year anniversary in its entirety is just disqualified. So it's honestly just a head-to-head matchup against the 1-year and 2-year anniversaries. I will only be looking at sparkings. I can do a part 2 of this video where I look at the extremes. And actually, if I look at the extremes, the 3-year anniversary won't automatically be disqualified because the extremes we got for the 3-year anniversary weren't all horrible. But let's just go ahead and get started. I don't have all goddamn night here. Let's take a look. Let's start with Buhan. Buhan, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. If Super Vegito had not been purple, Buhan would have been a meta-defining unit. This unit was absolutely disgusting when he first came out. And again, like, Super Vegito kind of shut regen down for like 2 months. So this guy didn't see much play when he first came out. But as time went on, this guy only got better as time went on because as Super Vegito started getting a lot of counters, this guy started being able to do stuff. He has this barrier green card, restoring his health, knocking the opponent back, lowering his strike arts cost, and it's comboable. And for some reason, even though he doesn't hold a green card, he seemed to love drawing green cards just all the time. His damage was ridiculous. His main ability for the time was actually pretty good. That's a lot of damage and key recovery for 60 counts. Like, that's actually a pretty good main ability for the time, of course. Okay, cut, because goddamn everything decided to fail. He's got this ability right here. Every single time someone else evades his attack with a vanishing step, he gets a green card, so that helps him with his constantly drawing the green card nonsense. Then he gets 20% damage inflicted. Pretty good ability for that time. And then the following effects occur every time this character enters the battlefield or enemy switches characters. The first time, he gets 40% strike damage inflicted. Second time, he gets arts card draw speed. Third time, he gets 40% blast damage and 20% special move damage. And the fourth time onward, he restores his ki by 40 and cancels at abnormal conditions. So keep in mind, these buffs would activate whether he swapped in or the opponent swapped out. So you could leave him in and get like up to 3 of these buffs at once. He was actually like really good back in the day. He really didn't, like, he made it so that you didn't want to switch while he was on the battlefield, but you also didn't really want to force him to switch because every time he came back, he would come back stronger. It was this situation where Buhan really kind of controlled a match. Buhan was one of the first units that really knew how to control a match by himself. And again, if Super Vegito hadn't been purple and shut regen down completely for the first few months of his release, he would have been a meta-defining unit, no doubt. Moving over to Golden Frieza, one of the hardest hitting units to have ever been released. I mean, his kit, to this day, his kit is still good. First 60 counts of the battle, -5 to blast arts cost, 50% damage inflicted, arts card draw speed, and key recovery, all cannot be canceled for 60 counts. Those are types of buffs that units are still getting today. You know, over 2 years later. This Frieza was the blueprint for units of today, which is ridiculous. He gets 30% damage inflicted against Saiyans, which is always good. And then the following effects occur when this character enters the battlefield. He makes the enemy take 35% more damage for 20 counts and lowers their key recovery by 20%. Like, this guy's kit, like Golden Frieza's kit, is still good to this day. He's got the AoE ultimate that hurts everybody on the team. Green card isn't that bad either. He was one of the only units at the time that had a 100% chance to inflict bleed on the blue card, which was really big. Like, Golden Frieza, if his stats weren't so shit, which back then his stats were good, but obviously by today's standards his stats are not very good at all. All he would need is higher stats, and this Frieza would be just as good as he was back then. Because again, his kit has legitimately not aged at all. He still has a kit that a unit of today would rock. His kit has not aged at all. Just only his stats have. So I really look forward to whenever this Golden Frieza gets a Zenkai, because oh boy, Lineage of Evil and Frieza Force are going to be cracked the hell out. That's going to be fun. Up next, Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta, one of the most overrated characters in history, because this character has only ever been good at one thing: locking in green units. I've said this since the day he came out. Since he came out during the 1 year anniversary, I have said that this Vegeta was only good when he was locking in green units, and he's completely fallen off today. You can't fucking use him today. But even when he first came out, he was only good when he was locking in green units. Like, this Vegeta was not very good. Easily the weakest of all of the 1 year anniversary units. Like, without question. By a fucking mile, in fact. Like he's not even close to any of them. I wouldn't say. Like, I would say all of the 1 year anniversary units are, like, honestly S tier minimum, with one, like, Super Vegito maybe being Z tier at the time. This guy was like fucking tier 1 at best. Like, at fucking best he was tier 1. Honestly, I would have put this Vegeta towards the bottom of tier 2 on release. Like, on release, I would have put this Vegeta at the bottom of tier 2, because he only had one function, and that was just nuke the hell out of green units. That was it. And when that's your only function, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. Moving on to Super Saiyan Blue Goku, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I don't know why this fucker ever got Zenkai'd. I think I can very confidently say that Super Saiyan Blue Goku is the unit that aged the best out of all the 1 year anniversary units, yet he was the first, and to this day only one of them, to have been Zenkai'd, which makes no fucking sense to me. Like, he was probably just strictly the best out of all of the 1 year anniversary units. Like, he was consistently reliable through his initial release, through that year, into the 2 year anniversary. You could still use him if you didn't pull Vegito Blue for God Key. You could still use this Goku when he was Zenkai'd. When he got Zenkai'd, you could have still ran this Super Saiyan Blue Goku, and he would not have been dead weight on your team. Would he have been kicking the ass he did during the 1 year anniversary? No, but he would have still been a usable member of your team by the time he got Zenkai'd. I have no fucking clue why they Zenkai'd him in the first place, because they didn't even fucking do that much to him. I don't actually think the power increase he got was that big. Like, I would say, in terms of like a percentage, I'd say he got like 10% more powerful with his Zenkai, because he was already still good. They didn't need to do much, and they didn't do that much. They just gave him a slight stat buff, and then gave him a few whatever buffs, and it's called a day. Here's your Zenkai, but he was already good, so he turned out pretty damn good. I don't know, his Zenkai baffles me, and he was, at the very least, the most consistently reliable of all the 1 year anniversary units. Which brings us to Super Vegito. Super Vegito fell off a lot faster than he should have, because Super Vegito probably has the lowest stats of any Legends Limited unit to have ever been released. Super Vegito's stats are fucking doo-doo. Like, his stat hit, what the fuck is that? Like, I get it, but even back then, even on release, his stats were shit. Like, even on release, his stats were fucking bad. However, what made him so goddamn good was because back then, he was the only fucking unit in the game that could do this nonsense. Like 40% damage inflicted when he enters the battlefield, and then he gets buffs for every single card he draws. That's what made him so stupid. Because regardless of his low-ass stats actually mattered so much back then that when you had percentage damage buffs that were able to be stacked, like Super Vegito, it made him one of the highest damaging units ever. And Super Vegito very much appreciated just coming in, beating the hell out of people, and getting the fuck out. And he, to this day, has one of the best Z abilities in the game, because he does strike attack, defense, and max health. And he is, to this day, the only unit in the game to have their Z ability actually change at 14 stars. Most units who have a change to their Z ability, it happens at 6. He's the only one that has it happen at 14, or back when he was released, he was the only one to have that change happen at 7 stars, whereas most people would have that change happen at 5. So, I mean, he was damn good, the best unit in the game for a time. Let's see if the 2 year anniversary can beat this out. Scroll on over. Let's start with Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Nope. Let's start with Omega Shenron. Omega Shenron was actually like pretty busted. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. He suffered the same fate that Buuhan did. If Vegito Blue had not been blue and had increased damage against Fusion Warriors, this Omega Shenron would have been a meta-defining unit. His kit was absolutely disgusting. I mean, he gets 30% to special move, awaken, and ultimate damage by allies with his super. That's dumb. He has that stupid green card that just everyone loves, that actually locks you in for 3 counts when you hit it. His ultimates, AoE damage, everyone gets hit by that nonsense. But then we've got this stuff. Just increases your own Dragon Balls by 1 when battle starts. He just fucking battle starts, gives you a Dragon Ball. Fuck it, why not? Gets the basic enter the battlefield buffs, and then every single time he lands a strike or blast darts hit, 20% chance to inflict strong poison, 20% chance to inflict heavy bleed, 10% chance to inflict paralysis. And then he gets increased chances if he's battling with a GT member. And then even more for paralysis if it's a Shadow Dragon. So, like, he was essentially just meant to get in there and just fuck you up with some debuffs, do a bit of damage against the whole team. He did more damage the more Dragon Balls you had. So he actually went against the notion of just rushing your opponent within the first 10 counts of the match, which I loved. Because people who used Omega Shenron tended to try and save their rush as long as possible so that Omega could do all the damage he needed to do. Omega Shenron was an amazing unit that just so happened to be screwed over by the big Legends Limited units, which is apparently a theme. Moving on to Rage Trunks, probably the tankiest unit. Probably, I would say Rage Trunks is the single best unit to have ever been released that has the defense type attached to it. I don't think any unit of the defense type has ever or will ever be as good as Rage Trunks. He was a defense type that could actually do damage. And he didn't just build his own damage, he built damage for the entire team. That's what else could you ask for? A defense type that is actually tanky, that can do damage and support the team. And he could heal constantly with his green card, 15%. That's all you gotta know for that one. Zamasu. Honestly, you could still use this Zamasu. I would say this Zamasu is very goddamn good, very tanky unit. His damage is falling off definitely, but he's honestly still pretty tanky. Like, if you want to run a more defensive setup for whatever team you're running him on, he can very much work in that capacity. I mean, he does get more buffs as the battle goes on. He gets that health restoration buff every time he uses a blast card, which is really good. Green card is fucking annoying. His ult gets stronger the more people die, so he's a good last stand when it comes to the ult anyway. You know, like, Zamasu's rocking some good stuff. And again, he just gets stronger and stronger as the battle progresses. So Zamasu's a pretty decent, like a bulky last stand type of unit who I think was designed very well and who's still good to this day. And then you have Vegito Blue, the best unit to have ever been released that is not a Zenkai. Like, to this day, no singular unit that is not a Zenkai has been better than Vegito Blue. Maybe you could argue the new Revival Gohan, but I would say the new Revival Gohan is only broken because of the revival mechanic, whereas Vegito was broken because of the combination of all of his ridiculous bullshit. It was the cover change, to the blast armor, to constantly drawing cards, to doing pretty decent damage with those cards, at least back then, being able to grind out rising rushes in one combo, and doing crazy damage with those rising rushes, having the first ultimate to ever have supreme impact damage, so it would just one-shot you all the time. Like, Vegito Blue had a combination of bullshit that made him super broken, whereas Revival Gohan kind of just has the revival mechanic, and that's it. So I don't think Revival Gohan is in himself a better overall unit than Vegito Blue was, but I do think Revival Gohan is far more annoying to fight. At least these days, he's more annoying to fight. Back then, I honestly think if Revival Gohan had been released while Vegito Blue was running the game, I don't think he would have even been an issue. Vegito Blue would have just fucking smacked the shit out of him. Like, yeah, you got that revival mechanic, but here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna hit you with 14 strike cards in a row, get rid of your first life, and then I'm gonna hit you with my ultimate and get rid of your second life. Like, Gohan would not have been an issue for Vegito Blue had he been released within close proximity to the 2-year anniversary. Vegito Blue is just absolutely stupid, and yeah, there's a 2-year anniversary for you. So in terms of who had the better roster of units, well, I would say both anniversaries had 4 really good units and 1 flop. The flop for the 1-year anniversary being this Vegeta, and then the flop for the 2-year anniversary being this Goku. I would say in terms of the LF versus LF, Vegito Blue is better than Super Vegito was, and I mean, I guess I don't have to really talk about Goku being Zenkai'd. I suppose if there were more of them Zenkai'd, maybe it would matter, but it's just him, so I don't think it really matters. In terms of units that actually lasted a long time, I would say every single unit from the 2-year anniversary, except the Super Saiyan 4 Goku, you can still use today, whereas 1 year after the 1-year anniversary, I would say the only usable units at that point, well, honestly, all of them except Vegeta. Truth be told, the 1-year anniversary and the 2-year anniversary were pretty damn close in terms of the quality of units. I would say as a whole, the 2-year anniversary units were just better units than the 1 year anniversary units, but the 2 year anniversary units were released with other units that were stronger than the units the 1 year anniversary ones had to fight. So it makes sense that they would be stronger, so I'm not going to give the 2 year anniversary the win for that. I'm actually going to say that the 1 year anniversary wins. Why? Let's take a look at their flops. Vegeta versus Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I think I can confidently say that even though I don't like the Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta, I think he's just better than the Super Saiyan 4 Goku was. I think at least Vegeta had a purpose on his teams. He was the guy that came in and nuked your green units. That was his job, and he served that job fairly well up till the 2 year anniversary. This Vegeta made a goddamn comeback when Kefla came out because people needed a way to take her out. So this Vegeta actually ended up coming back to Providence because of his ability to nuke green units. Not only was this Goku never that impressive, he's likely never going to have a niche to come back for, because it's not like he counters anything that would be a problem. So because Super Saiyan 4 Goku is an even bigger flop than Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta, I'm actually going to say that the 1 year anniversary had the best quality of units. Even though, again, the 2 year anniversary units were stronger, that's because the units around them were stronger. The 1 year anniversary units were released at a time where units weren't as strong as they were during the 2 year anniversary. So, like I said, obviously, the actual power level of the units are going to be different. But in terms of the quality of the units we got for the time frame in which they came out, I gotta say the 1 year anniversary had the better units. They fulfilled their purposes, and none of them were bad at it. Vegeta may have only had one purpose, but he was damn good at doing it. That Goku didn't have any purpose, and he was mediocre at best at just existing. So, yeah, 1 year anniversary wins. If you guys want me to make a part 2 to this with the extreme units, let me know. But if you enjoyed this video, do make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, hit that join button if you can, it really does help the channel out. All the links you could ever want are in the description down below, and I will see all of you inmates back here at the asylum for the next video. Peace.